Hey everyone, this is Zach at FF Chalupa Batman. This is Fantasy and Frames Beat the Waiver Wire. We are already getting ready to talk about week 4. So the whole point of this quick video series every week is to help you pick up players before Sunday games start, get them on your roster for free, and that way you don't have to fight with your league mates on the waiver wire that following Tuesday and Wednesday. So some of these are going to be hits, some will be misses. Really, we're just trying to predict the future, which we know we cannot do very well, so we're going to try our best. And like I said, our goal is to try to get you these players for free now. So with that, let's get started. All of these players are rostered in under 50% of ESPN leagues. So these are your standard leagues. So for some of these guys, they're not on your waiver wire, but for some they are. So let's see what we got. For quarterback this week, we're going to go with Justin Fields. He is 37.1% rostered. Honestly, not a lot of great quarterbacks on the waiver wire. Streaming has been tough this year so far, but Justin Fields provides that upside, which is why I picked him. He has not been throwing enough. I don't know if that's his fault or the offensive coordinator's fault, but hopefully the coaches realize they need to start throwing more. That happens this week. And Fields does have a safe floor with his rushing ability once he starts throwing the ball. They're just not throwing it enough yet, but hopefully it turns it around because once you start seeing one decent game from Fields, he's going to get picked up. So go ahead, grab him now. If he ends up having another bad game in week 3, you just drop him right away. You got him for free. At running back, Tyler Algiere. He's the rookie running back with the Atlanta Falcons. He is rostered in 18.5% of leagues. He had his NFL debut in week 2 after being benched in week 1. Wasn't part of the 53-man roster. Well, he started his career with a 31% snap share and a 48% rush share from 10 carries for 30 yards. So nothing special. But the fact that he had almost a 50% rush share is encouraging. It was a tough defense going against the Rams, and that game got out of hand pretty quick, and then the Falcons started working their way back into that game and almost pulled off the upset. So expect him to continue to get more work as the season goes on, and he could be the goal line back for the Falcons. Again, it's not a crazy high-powered offense, but at this point, you're just trying to grab some guys that have a chance at future opportunity. So Algiere fits the mold. If he ends up losing a lot of work in week 3 or does not look promising enough to gain work the next couple weeks, you just go ahead and drop him. At wide receiver, Joshua Palmer of the Los Angeles Chargers, 37.2% rostered. So Keenan Allen is still questionable as I record this video on Saturday afternoon going into week 3. Even if he does play, there is still that possibility that he re-injures his muscle injury. I believe it's a quad or I think it's a hamstring. So Palmer could be the wide receiver 2 on that team again, but even as the wide receiver 3, he is part of a high-powered dynamic passing offense. Now, I understand Justin Herbert is banged up as well. He may not go, but you aren't grabbing these players right now to start them this week. We expect Herbert to heal and to be back to his old self, hopefully sooner rather than later. So you want a piece of this offense, and right now, one of the best pieces that you can get for free at the moment is Joshua Palmer. So go ahead and pick him up, stash him. At tight end, man, there's a lot of craziness in tight end, and not for the better. It is not deep as we were all hoping it would be this year, as we say every year it feels like. But Evan Ingram of the Jacksonville Jaguars has actually been playing pretty well. He's 27.5% rostered. He has the 4th most tight end receptions through 2 weeks. Again, not saying too much for the tight ends, but hey, that's something. And he's actually catching the ball this season. Everyone gives him a hard time for the drops, which is fair. He does drop a lot, but he has an almost 92% catch rate so far through 2 weeks. He's averaging 90% snap share through 2 weeks, and the offense seems to be improving, and we hope to see it continue to improve with better coaching this year. So go ahead, stash Evan Ingram. Actually, you could even start him this week against the Los Angeles Chargers if you had to, and if he flops this week, again, you just drop him. And your bonus player this week is Brian Robinson, running back for the Washington Commanders, currently on IR. He's rostered in 36.8% of teams. So he's beginning to work out again, which is awesome. Unfortunately, he was shot right before the season started. It sounds like, though, he's making a full recovery, which is great. And he can return as soon as week 5. That doesn't mean he will return in week 5, but that is as soon as he can return since he was placed on IR. If Gibson gets hurt sometime this season, again, we're not rooting for injuries, but this is fantasy football, so we're going to talk about it. Then Robinson would gain a significant workload. So he is one of those players that you can stash on your IR if you have the availability in your league, and then just hope that maybe mid-season he is really putting in a high workload, and then you can start him. So he's just one of those stash for now players if you can. And I want to give you guys an extra bonus. So a bonus. This goes for literally any week, but especially now as we get into the season. If you have an available roster spot in your league, then pick up any available handcuff running back that would fall into a substantial workload if the starting running back gets injured this week. So basically, you pick somebody up now. Madison's not available in most of your leagues, but this is an example. If Madison was a lowered roster player, you know that he is the starter with a significant workload if Dalvin Cook were to get hurt. So you pick him up if nothing happens this week, which, again, we're not rooting for injury. If Dalvin Cook doesn't get hurt, then you just drop Madison once you need to make a next waiver claim on Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, Madison is just an example. That is not a player that actually works in real life because he's too highly rostered. But those are the running backs you want to look for right now. Just pick up any of them, and then you immediately drop them if nothing happens to the player ahead of them. But that is how you beat the waiver wire. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Fantasy and Frames YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the great content coming out weekly. We have lots of shows all week covering just your standard offensive fantasy. We cover your DFS. We cover IDP. We got it all here, so make sure you hit that subscribe. Hit the like button as well. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week.